Marvel Studios, Captain America, Civil War. My experience watching it. We're just going to talk about it for a little bit. I'm going to try to make this review not super long, but not super short either. So how about we get started? Again, my experience with the Civil War, Captain America Civil War anyway. One of the greatest movies of all time. Anyways, that's right. Curious George just hit back in the scene, looking like Vegeta with my fucking hairline. Just look at that. That I got going on. All right. And yeah, we're just going to talk about Captain America Civil War. Hey, Punky Productions. Hey, how you doing, man? How you doing? Welcome to stream. Welcome to stream. Anyways, so we're just going to get right into it. So watching Bucky getting tortured / turned into the Winter Soldier to have his first mission, or just to get turned into the Winter Soldier again, I remember seeing this moment. Hey, Lucas, welcome. Hey, yo, welcome, bro, welcome. Man, you are the only person keeping that alive. Actually, that's not true. Actually, there might be some truth to that. But, because I do it sometimes too, still. Like, hey, yo. Because I still want to play Punch-Out Wii, Part of me still wants to play. Just go back and play. Because people have been telling me, go back and play it. Give it another play. Play it. Please play it. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Alright, but yeah. Watching Bucky, that shit was sad. Steve, Falcon, Wanda trying to save the city. Alright, so we're going to move right into this scene. This is like the first moment I want to show y'all. So basically, it was Captain America versus Crossbones. Like, it was a fight scene, but it was like not only like Crossbones fight was cool, which I'm probably going to show you a lot in this one, to be honest. So I'm probably not going to monetize it. But I also don't want to show too much either. But as you can see, Crossbones is putting the work on Captain America, bro. And you're just like, yep. Throw that down. What the freak? Boom. Bink. And it was a whole thing. But the worst thing was obviously this moment here. When she was handling an explosion, she took it up. And it ended up killing everybody. Alright, yep. That's what ended up happening, right? And I remember when I saw this scene for the first time, seeing like Steve, Falcon, Wanda, also Natasha try to save the day, try to get I can't remember what it was, but it was like some type of gas or something that could spread and harm the world or something. And Cap and obviously new people were on the scene to try to get the job done, right? And keep in mind, like, I think, like, because I remember when me and Nick were watching this moment, obviously, Captain America vs. Cross, that shit was just raw as fuck, watching Cap throw hands, love that bit. I always love it when Captain America throws hands with somebody, because he's, like, one of the only characters that's, like, throws hands, like, no, I mean, he does the superpowers, but at the same time, it's, like, superpowers that kind of feel grounded compared to everybody. Schizo? No, not Schizo. W movie, yeah, this is Captain America Civil War is a W movie, but, I remember, like, Nick and I, when we watched this moment, like, we were like, yo, Wanda, I feel like, I don't know if Wanda could have handled it any better than how she did in this scene. Because just imagine you spending all day, using your powers to hold bombs, like, hold explosions within itself, trying to contain it. And try to shoot it upwards, right? Or imagine using your abilities all day to send this flying or to get you across somewhere or whatever without dying or whatever. Honestly, I know Wanda, like, fucked up in this scene, but I remember me and Nick were like, I think she was tired. I think that's why, / she hasn't really, like, contained, like, a full explosion. Ski Mask, Bog 13, Schizo, I love you. Super Mario fan? Yeah, I'm a Super Mario fan. I love Mario. Mario is actually pretty cool. But, Wanda wanted to contain Crossbones, who had a bomb inside of him, and get him out of the zone with tons of civilians, but she ended up making the situation worse. She did make the situation worse, but I feel like it's because she doesn't have too much experience containing like things for a long period of time without it being some sort of some without it being like somewhat destructive. Because if you remember in the last movie, I think it was either this movie or the last one she was in. Every single time she fought, she always, yeah, by the way, yeah, I got a haircut because I wanted a haircut because I was like, you know what? I'm kind of tired of my usual hair just being a mess. And I don't really take care of it, you know. I don't really take care of it. I don't really care about it, obviously. But I like it when my hair is like really short like this, so I don't have to really like brush anything or whatever or deal with a lot of things in it or something. That's why I always love getting haircuts nowadays. But anyways, but yeah, I'm like, because I think, yeah, because Wanda last movie, aka Ultron, Age of Ultron, was showing a portion of Wanda's power after Quicksilver died. Yeah, exactly, but she always used it in like pretty destructive ways. If not, like, we rarely saw her use it in good ways, or we rarely saw her like contain things. That's why it was kind of weird. But anyways, I digress. Um, so number three, we're just gonna move on to the third point, right? This is also another scene I felt like was really fucked up, which I'll probably show like in a little bit, probably show later. Or actually no, I just won't show it. I'll just talk about it. It was when watching Tony do that little project showcase thing where he was sitting there showing the world what he can do, and all your projects have been funded by me, Tony Stark. Yep, the one and only, the best man on the planet, the richest man on the planet, or whatever the fuck, and whatnot, so on, so forth, whatever, right? But they have what is it? He did all that, right? He leaves the vicinity. He's about ready to go. He's like, man, all right, I did everyone's projects. I'm a little happy about myself, but at the same time, I'm kind of shitty, but, you know, because obviously I don't know how Tony feels in the moment, but what ended up happening, and this bothers me a bit, but, well, Tony in that moment basically talked about his project, kind of talked about his trauma with his parents a little bit. That was kind of fucked, but with the project. But anyways, Tony was getting ready to exit out the scene, and this random mom, like, shows up, right? This random ass mom, and I'm not kidding, this random ass mom. This mom shows up to Tony. She says, I'm right where I want to be. He says, you know, he tried to ask her, you want to go up? And she was like, no, I'm right where I want to be. And she lets Tony know in person that you killed. Oh my god, it kind of does remind me of Vegeta, because like every time I have my hat on, that's all you see, so you just get the M logo, bro. Look. Sorry, it's just kind of funny. But if you want to like joke around like that, but all jokes aside, your haircut is awesome. Thanks. I appreciate it. But she went up to Tony and said, you fuckers killed my son. I want you to know what you did. You killed my son before he had a chance in the world. Fuck you, Tony. And I'm not going to lie, me and Nick, when we were watching this moment, I understood the mom completely, because every mom wants their kids to succeed in this world, right? And in this world, but a part of me was bothered by how she went about it, right? Because keep this in mind, Ultron was sending Sokovia all the way up into the fucking sky, and they had no choice but to either allow thousands to die, or if it gets high enough, all of human extinction, right? And obviously, it doesn't make the situation any better, killing thousands or killing everybody. Either way, somebody's fucking dying, right? And it just so happens that your son was one of the victims that sadly died in that Sokovia incident once we blew it all to shit. Right? And I don't know, I just felt like, I get it why she's mad at Tony, but at the same time, I'm sitting there kind of like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I just had it getting in my way, but I don't know. I just felt like she had a right, but at the same time, I feel like she didn't, because she wouldn't be on this planet if it wasn't for Tony and Tony and Thor's decision to simultaneously use their power at the same time to blow it to shit. And again, yes, I know, whenever the Avengers save the world, it ends up getting super fucking destructive. But you got Tony paying for all the damages. You got people rebuilding it. People making sure they're all right in whatever. And it's just whatever. You know what I mean? So just seeing that, I don't, it just bothered me. It just bothered fucking me. I know, I'm spending way too much time on this moment, but it just bothers the fuck out of me, okay? Yeah, so another moment I would love to talk about, and I think there's a clip here, I could be wrong, but it's basically when everybody talks about, actually I won't talk about it because I want to, like, talk about the moment where basically the United States literally said to all of them, got all the Avengers in a room, sat them down and said, you guys need to be civilized. You guys need to be looked upon. You guys need to be asked upon. You guys need to be kept in check. Okay? And I remember this moment and the government showing the Avengers what they did. Because keep this in mind, right? Whenever you're watching a Marvel movie, you never think, and this is something I thought Civil War did right whenever they showed us this moment. I love how in Captain America Civil War, I love how the heroes are getting punished for what they actively do during the last few movies. Like, for example, Avengers or Iron Man. Well, they didn't mention, like, Iron Man 3 in particular. Well, actually, I think they did mention Iron Man 3 in particular. But they mentioned pretty much everything or almost every big incident that has happened in cities, small towns, or whatever, ever since, like, Thor arrived on Earth, or ever since, you know, Tony had people trying to take it over it, and all that other sort of shit. And I love how the heroes are being shown what, you know, what type of destruction they cause whenever they fight these galactic threats. And obviously, how are they supposed to, like, settle the fights, like, quieter or with less damage? Because, you know what I mean? Like, that's just gonna happen when you're in a fight. Damage, like, getting thrown into glass breaking, or chairs breaking, walls, buildings breaking, that's gonna happen. But the fact that they're calling the Avengers out for this, they're saying, like, some of you are a threat to this world. And I'm like, damn, they're really doing this. Right? And we need to keep y'all in check. 117 countries signed this shit. So y'all can be kept in check. Because we're losing hundreds, if not thousands of people every single time one of you guys has something going on. I swear to God, every single time there's thousands, there's hundreds, if not thousands of people dying every single time. How many people did you think died in Avengers 1 when the first Avengers movie came out, right? How many people died then to all those alien monster things that were going on Earth and shit? How many people died that day? Like, I can't even count it, but there's a lot of people that must have died that day. And yes, they were shown saving people, but I bet you there were so much more casualties than there were people saved, I feel like. How many people at Sokovia, you know, when Age of Ultron happened? How many people died then? I mean, there was a lot of people that died during Ultron. Way more than I think all the other movies combined, probably. But you get my point, though. It's like, it's good that the villains are being shown, or not the villains, it's good that the heroes are being shown how destructive they actually are. And I love how each of the Avengers, and before I continue this point, let me move on to another one. Marco killing this dude because he wouldn't give info is crazy. Just want to Marco slash his alias, but his name is Zemo. Like, actually, his name is Zemo. But anyways, we'll move on from that. Another thing I'd love to talk about is I love how half of the Avengers wanted to go along with the idea of doing it the way 117 countries wanted it. Like, for example, Tony was accepting of it. Black Widow was accepting of it. I think War Machine was accepting of it. I can't remember the others particular in this moment, but there were some people that were like saying, you know what, maybe we should be kept in check. I think Vision also agreed with it that the Avengers should be kept in check. But then there's somebody like Steve Rogers and other people that don't agree with this. And I love how Captain America and Tony are arguing about their points. It goes hard. Like, for example, Steve was arguing the fact that, when seeing this, bro, Tony, you got to understand. I'm probably going to take this hat off because it keeps slipping on my head, and that is kind of annoying. I'm used to my hair being there, so it keeps it up. But Tony, or Captain America, was saying, bro, if we sign this, basically, we can't live our own lives, or we can't go out and save people when we decide to, or we can't do what we want to do. Basically, we're the government's lab dogs if we sign this, or the world's lab dogs. And, for example, right, let's say this. This is what Cap's point is, right? There is a burning building with 100 people inside, right? Until the government tells Captain America, and Captain America is right there, right? He's right there. He's ready to save as many people from that burning building as possible. Until the government tells him, go and save those people, he's probably permitted not to be allowed to save those people. If they sign that. And that's what his point was. And on top of that, like, the point of free will, like choosing what you want to do. What does Steve want to do today, I don't want to, like, I don't want to be constantly doing small baby missions, like, every 24 fucking hours. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of crazy, all right? It's crazy. And Steve, or not Steve, fucking Tony is like, bro, but we've destroyed so much shit in the past 5 minutes, 20 minutes. Or not 20 minutes, but you get my point. The last 5-6 movies, we took so many fucking lives, right? Took so many lives. And also, Tony, the whole reason Tony signed this was because of that mother in the last scene, by the way. Because usually Tony doesn't really, for example, Tony doesn't really, like, learn much until, like, for example, right? God damn it. For example, Tony, whenever something happens to him, and if it doesn't, like, affect him, he'll still be the same self. But if it truly affects him or something bothers him, that's when he'll start thinking differently. And I feel like throughout most of this movie, like, when he wanted to sign, he was really thinking about the perspective of that mom losing their kid and all that other sort of shit. In Captain America Civil War, that kiss scene between Steve and Sharon doesn't really make any sense. But the funniest part of the scene is Sam and Bucky's faces. Oh, yeah, without a doubt. And I will talk about that here in a minute when we get down to it. Oh God, there is a lot of stuff I have to talk about in this one. We're just only at number 7, guys, over here. Steve going to Peggy's funeral is actually very sad. I remember just Steve, and this is right after this meeting, right? Or during the meeting, Peggy dies, right? The one love Steve had in this entire world, right? Peggy dies, and Steve has to go. Steve has to go see it. And I remember that entire scene being so sad. And just watching that. But also, it's sad. But I remember because of that funeral when he went to it, Steve completely made up his mind on how he's going to go about things. Like, for example, the points that he was talking about, like, at first, right? Steve was going to argue, because that's what Steve does. He argues his point across, whenever he thinks something is not right, because he's seen what the hell is not right, like black and white not right, what's right, what's wrong, all that other sort of shit. So, of course, Steve is going to fight for his points. But he wasn't going to be 100% sure maybe if they would sign it or whatever the fuck, right? And after him going to the funeral, and I think, what was her name? Sharon. Like, Sharon spoke up on Peggy's life, and also talked about how we should never back down, we should never do this and that, or if people try to move us, we should try to move them back, or whatever. Or it was something she said that made Cap go like, I made up my mind, I'm not fucking signing this, or just whatever. That was the whole thing. Number 9, King T'Chaka being killed by a bomb making by Hydra, right? and Zemo, right? And I honestly felt bad for King T'Chaka because he lived a long life, but we didn't really get to see much of him. This was like the first appearance of the king of Wakanda that we've ever gotten, and yet he dies right out the gate in explosion because he made himself known to the world one time. And it's like somebody already wants him on the fucking ground dead. And it's like, holy fuck. Watching that moment was fucking crazy. Just them being exploded by a bomb. So, one thing I also want to mention, another thing, we're just going to kind of move through it. Natasha talking to Panther and he wants Bucky dead. So I remember this moment when I watched it. Because my man's T'Challa was pissed off. And I don't blame him. Suddenly Hydra and Bucky were the ones to kill his dad for no reason. It's like, I want nothing but revenge for my dad. And I get that 100%. But it was scary when Prince T'Challa was willing to go down that path, you know, so he can get that man dead. So it's like blood paid. And honestly, T'Challa really reminded me of Killmonger in that moment. Because, you know, obviously you guys remember the Black Panther movie. Whenever we get there, we'll get there. But, you know, his whole thing, Killmonger's whole thing, is wanting revenge for what, you know, not only they did to his dad, but just to everybody on the outside of Wakanda, you know. I want revenge on all that. Everybody going to hell, you know. That's what his thought process is. And that's what Prince T'Challa's thought process was whenever his dad died. Like, everything's going down. I don't give a fuck. Nah, fuck that. Everybody dying down there, right? It's a whole thing. Bucky's dead, and whoever gets in my way, I am not afraid to fight. I'm not afraid to pull up. I'm not afraid to pull hands, right? I think I want to show this moment, though. It was, not the helicopter scene. Fuck, which one was it? It was, damn it, shit. Not the chase scene, but we're getting close to that. So basically, I'll just explain this scene so we can get to it. One of my other favorite moments in this was Bucky and Steve meeting up. Black Panther was really willing to throw them hands with Bucky. Yeah, he was. And it makes sense. It makes sense. Like I said, it makes sense. Him getting that mad makes sense. I would be that mad too, right? But I probably would think way more about it. But then again, he was in a blind rage, and no one really thinks straight when they're in a rage. So, but anyways, so Bucky and Steve meeting each other in that a little apartment room, or that little room that Bucky has, and basically Bucky's not 100% straight during this, and Steve realizes that, and he's trying to help his friend. He's trying to help him out, right? And Steve, just watching Bucky and Steve fuck up, I think either German soldiers or American soldiers, I can't remember, but just watching them fuck up each other was so goddamn cool. Or just not only fuck up each other, but also like fuck up soldiers together. Like, unwilling, because Steve is basically trying to help Buck, but at the same time, you know, and try to diverse the chaos. Like, dude, stop, basically. Just stop. Just stop. Stop right now. Right? It's a whole thing. It was such a cool little moment. I wanted to mention that because there was some cool choreography in there and stuff. But one thing I want to say this, right? And this is number 12. This was, I think, after... Right? I can't remember if this was after or before, but Black Panther says, I ask you as a warrior and a king, how long do you think you can keep your friend from me? I remember when he said that as a warrior and a king, how long do you think you can keep your friend away from me was one of the rawest lines Prince T'Challa's had in this movie. I mean, that's how serious he was on revenge. That's how serious he was on murking them. It was before Iron Man went to Queens to recruit Spider-Man. I got you. But just imagine that line. Imagine someone walking up and telling you that. You know, as whatever you say it as, right? In your own way, and you say it like that, and you deliver it the same way Boyo over there did. I'm sorry, but that shit was straight up raw. And I am going to show you this moment because I think it was 16 minutes. Which one's longer? This one's a whole 4 minutes. Hold up. Let me see this. Alright, but let me go ahead and show this. Okay, so Zemo being in the room with Bucky just to turn him back into a menace. So basically, while Iron Man was talking to Steve. They didn't realize, wait a minute, who the fuck is in that room with Bucky right now, actually? I need to know. So, what the fuck, right? And basically, Steve realized, I think a little bit too late, that Bucky got turned back into the menace, right? And basically, he's like, you guys see it right here. Basically, Zemo uses the book, turns Bucky back. They start scrapping. It's a whole thing in here. It's amazing. One of the best fights in the movie, actually. By the way, can I just say this? I really like Zemo as a villain. I love Zemo as a villain. Zemo was phenomenal as a villain. But anyways, you see Bucky. Look at this. Just, oh. I'm sorry, but how the fuck can you get up after that? But you see Steve, Bucky just fighting. Steve getting bodied. Oh my gosh. And then the girls try to do something. Nah. And then let me show you the scene after that. Hold on, let me show you the scene after that. By the way, yes, I am using other people's footage. Leave me alone. Right? That shit explodes. Bucky has their whole moment. It's a whole thing. Right? After Bucky and Steve go, Steve's like, fuck, I gotta get up there and do something. Right? Iron Man tries to throw up the piece after the girls tried to. And this was really cool, just watching Iron Man try to fight Bucky with just his own body and stuff. Right? I love this. But Tony was just getting outclassed. Oh, Sharon. I love these girls, though. Natasha and Sharon had his ass. They were bopping his ass. But then Sharon got bashed into a table, and it was over for her. At least recognize me, but then T'Challa came in, and it was a whole thing. Just, dude, T'Challa was like giving him the peace a little bit. Or dude, shout outs to Bucky, bro, but even during mind control, this man was giving half the Avengers a fucking peace. I mean, just be grateful there was no Hulk, there was no fucking Thor, because it would have been completely different otherwise. Dude, their fight was just legendary. I love it. But then he's like, what the fuck happened? They left, and it was a whole thing, right? I wanted to show you that scene, because it was just so fucking cool. And I know, I might get in trouble for this one. T'Challa went to Bucky to throw them hands, yet Bucky was handling his... Dude, yeah, that's why I was like, Bucky was handling everybody in that fucking room. Steve got bodied, and Steve probably had the biggest chance at everybody. So once Steve got bodied, I mean, wow... Steve and, like, probably Black Panther are probably relative, if not almost relative. Because keep in mind, they always fight in suits all the time. Bucky's over here tanking all this shit with his fucking body, bro. He's tanking all these body shots, head shots, like, those are actual punches he's, like, fucking swapping hands with. Meanwhile, everybody else, if you get slammed to a table one time, you're fucking cooked. Bro, that's why I'm like, just watching all of them get cooked like that was crazy. This is one of the things that makes me say Bucky's a badass, right? Just him being able to just casually go up to the Avengers and be like, and just fucking body the shit out of half of them. It was really cool. And Nick's favorite character is Bucky, so just Nick watching Bucky just run a train through almost everybody was just straight flames, man. Straight up flames. Oh, yeah. Seeing Bucky kill Tony's parents was such a sad scene. And also seeing the other Winter Soldiers is also nuts. Like, basically Bucky trying to confirm with Steve that basically there are way more super soldiers other than me that are, like, almost relative to me in, like, you know, strength, endurance, and other things. But obviously Bucky's the best because of the metal arm and all that, and experience. And I love how Nick pointed that out to me, that Bucky is the best super soldier out of all of them. Not like Steve included, but like the best super soldier of them all. Not due to his like combat skills, but just due to his overall experience in general, like in all those fields and shit. You know, he's like literally the best of the best, because the other guys aren't like soldiers. They were just made in a lab and then just put in prison because they were crazy strong or whatever the fuck. It's the whole thing. Anyways, Tony recruiting Peter / Spider-Man was such a funny moment, and this starts the Tony and Peter father and son relationship, because a lot of people say all the time, every time Tony and Peter are on scene together, it really is like a father-son type of moment, because Peter is learning from, obviously, Tony. And if I said Steve recruiting Peter, I meant Tony recruiting Peter. But yeah. But for anyone that doesn't agree, I know there's some people that won't agree out there that this movie doesn't start it, but in my opinion, I feel like it kind of does, because they already are starting with them having a lot of moments in there. But that was a beautiful moment. Steve getting Scott on the team was kind of cool. But I really did want to say something about the moment where Falcon and Bucky are smiling at Steve, and this is something Lucas brought up. But Peggy and Sharon are related, if I'm not mistaken, right? So it's kind of weird that Captain America just, I don't know, it's just weird because, well, I mean, see, the thing is, right, in that moment, it is weird, right, that, you know, if Sharon is, like, I think related to, somebody can tell me in the comments, but, Sharon's related to Peggy in some way, shape, or form. I think she was her niece or something like that. I can't remember exactly what Sharon was to Peggy, but the fact that her and Peggy were related and Captain America's trying to make moves on her a little bit in that moment after they recruited Scott Lang, after all that entire moment was over, I kind of felt like was a little weird. And you would think it's weird because obviously Cap is like, God knows how old. Like physically he's like 24, but like mentally he's like, he should be like over 70 or something. But you get it, right? It's like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's just weird. But if you think about it in the context of like Steve, where he's like, well, not Steve. If you think about it in a different context, like for example, it's weird trying to explain this and I'm not trying to validate that scene, but it's kind of weird. Like the way I explain it, like I'm either trying, oh God, it's confusing. But what I'm trying to say is try to understand it from like how older couples used to work, right? Because nowadays, whenever this movie came out in 2016, we're so used to relationships. This is how old you need to be in a relationship. And I'm not trying to validate like stupid young ages here, but I'm just saying there were people back then that like got together with people that were either 5 years older than them or 4 years old. Like for example, this random man, as an example, this man is 25, and this 21-year-old or 20-year-old girl wants to get with him, right? Keep in mind, there's a lot of relationships out there where people are many years older than that other person, and they still get into that relationship. So it's like seeing Steve kind of get with Sharon and kind of make out with her that one time. You know, I think it was just supposed to be a scene that people don't really think about, but the fact that I'm thinking about it this much in my review of this movie says a fucking lot, okay? It says a lot, all right? It says a lot, all right? And I apologize, but I just want to explain that for those that felt like, try to explain it in some way I could for those that are like younger and think that type of shit is weird. I mean, just ask how your mom and dad's relationship started and what ages they started their relationship at. You know what I'm saying? They might tell you the same shit I'm saying, so keep that in mind. Many years older than their partner, then that's just not groovy because one of the partners is old enough to either be their dad or their granddad. But then again, and this is exactly why I say that as long as both of them validate the relationship, it should be okay. We shouldn't judge that shit, you know what I mean, too hard. Like, you know what I mean? Shouldn't really think about it too hard. But then again, there are some cases where it's like, okay, whoa, back up, dude, you know what I mean? Or back up, girl, you need to chill type shit. Like, for example, like underage shit, nah, get that shit out of here. You know what I mean? Get that shit out of here. Get that shit booted, ruined, end the relationship right now. End it, you know, crush it, stomp it, throw it out a fucking window. But if they're both of age, even if they're one's older than the other, and they both accept each other, that's fine. Be happy with each other, you know what I mean? I think that's what that scene was trying to tell us, in a way. But I don't know. Look, I'm just the fucking black YouTuber that's, or not a black. A lot of people like to do that. I know we should value some relationships, but that's just me. No, I got you, bro. I got you. I'm just saying, because I know what that's, not me personally, but I know what it's like because I have some family members that been through that type of shit or whatever, you know. But anyways, I digress. So let's talk about the airship fight scene. So what I mean by the airship, not as in they're in ships flying, but basically it's where Peter Parker comes in, you know, the moment with him, the moment with Ant-Man basically just doing a lot of shit. Basically, really cool stuff happening, okay? And the airstrip, I think it's airstrip, not airship, but I think it was airstrip, right? But you get the airport fight scene, this shit, all this. This fight was so fucking cool. Watching all the Avengers just straight up box each other, like, and seeing them do different fighting styles. And I didn't want to show that scene too much, but you get it. You get that moment. That's the moment I'm talking about. But that was so cool. Just watching Black Panther clash with Steve Rogers. Watching Spider-Man clash with Steve Rogers. Or watching Vision try to fight fucking whoever. And it was a whole fucking thing. It was really cool. When Ant-Man grew big, Spider-Man was like, holy shit. Yeah, exactly. He was like, holy shit. And I remember in the movie theaters, they have two versions of the movie. They have the censorship version where they censor bad words, and then they have a version of it where they don't censor it. And I think Disney Plus keeps the version where he says holy shit, because I remember watching both versions where they cut the shit part. They say holy and they cut it to the next scene, so it makes it a little bit quicker. But I would love just that. I've experienced both versions, so I know this for a fact that actually has happened, funny enough. When Vision tried to shoot Falcon only to hurt Rhodey, and seeing Rhodey fall down, and Tony pissed that like Rhodey's falling down and possibly could have died if the altitude was any worse or if the suit was any lesser. Funny enough. And I get why Tony was really pissed there. And I think he also learned from this that never to make a suit's power core just be the middle. Like, the entire suit is the core, you know what I mean? It has to get the strength from the inside out to be fucking, you know, type shit. But anyways, and I say this, Tony, and this is something I pointed out earlier, but I want to mention this again. Tony pisses me off because he always needs something drastic before he realizes he's wrong. And I say this pisses me off sometimes because he could be in the middle of a battle situation, and if he thinks he's right, even though he's completely wrong, he's going to stick through it and try not to solve a situation another way until it's either too late or something drastic happens to him. This is exactly what I mean when I said earlier that the whole reason he signed those agreements was because of the fact that he was in his feelings when that mother went up to him, said, my son is dead because of you. You only care about yourself, and basically gave him that rant. That's the whole reason he signed the document, right? And I get it. I would, if I wasn't in my right head, I'd probably sign the document too. But then again, you know, like I said again, Tony was really in the wrong here. Even after that mother walked up on him, I'm gonna be real. I mean, I get it why she was mad at Tony, but she should realize that like it was either some of us or all of us, and I had to pick some of us over all of us. All right, but then again, they think differently, and it's like whatever. Yeah, it's the whole thing. Anyways, Tony and Captain making a truce, and Bucky just not putting down the gun because Bucky was like, because keep in mind, just an hour or two ago when they were flying that fucking ship, Kaiju Gaming, welcome back. When they were, Steve and Bucky were flying that ship, they were flying away from Iron Man. Okay, Iron Man was about ready to take them in, about ready to do the stuff that he would normally do, and it's gonna be a whole fucking thing, right? To be fair, I mean, it makes sense. I get it why Bucky's a little skeptical, because he might be bullshitting Cap or whatever, so... And Bucky just not putting down his gun was kind of funny. Anyways, oh, I need to show this moment, because, I don't care, he killed my mom. Yeah, that needs to be shown. Right? That needs to be shown. Let me go ahead and show it off. So basically, Zemo got everybody in a room, got Iron Man, Steve, Bucky in a room, and said, watch this motherfucker on the screen. And basically, Tony watched as Bucky murdered his parents on the screen. Yeah, that's what I said, that even though Bucky was under Hydra's brainwash, it still wasn't a good look. No, it was not a good look at all. And another thing I want to mention, what was very fucked up that Bucky said was, I still remember each and every single person I murk, even in the brainwashing. And I still hear their screams and everything, like visually or just in my own ears and all that other sort of shit. I still hear all that shit all the time. I remember each and every single one of them. And I'm like, dude. And if it wasn't that enough, Captain knew and didn't tell Tony about it. That's what bothers me the most. Because keep in mind, this is why I say Iron Man was completely right fucking flipping his shit. This time, I don't blame Tony for flipping his shit. I really fucking don't. Because Cap was hella wrong here for not telling Tony sooner. Meaning, they went through Avengers together. They went through Age of Ultron together. They went through so much shit together. And for Steve not to tell him that. Steve not to tell that Bucky is the reason your parents are gone is so fucked up. Because I said this to Nick. I said this. I said, I swear, if Cap would have told Tony sooner, that much sooner, the blow would have been devastating right then and there. But during this movie, it would have been like, I already know that. I really don't forgive him for that. Fuck you, but it would have been, the blow would have been just significantly less. I'm just saying. Or maybe Tony would have had that outburst then, so later outburst probably would never have, like this outburst here would never have happened. If not, it probably would happen, but then again, it's a whole thing, right? But it's really fucked up. Extremely fucked up. Did you know?
I didn't know it was him. I just need you to know. Yes.
And Zemo just leaves the room. Jesus. Just I'm sorry, but just watching all this is so cool, but I can't show the whole moment, but I'm gonna be real, right? I'm gonna skip a lot of this because I think they show the ending of the fight. I could be hella wrong. But let me see, right? This is the last bit of the fight. I do want to show this bit, right? So basically that happens, right? And it was painful to watch, like seeing Tony's reaction and stuff. Tony versus Steve Bucky was one of the best fights in the entire movie, if not the best fight in the movie, right? And I'm going to move over to another point before I show you more of the fight here. Zemo and T'Challa talking about themselves. Panther telling Zemo after he tried to take his own life, vengeance is consuming them. Vengeance is consuming me, and it's consuming them. But I won't let vengeance consume me any longer. And then as Zemo tried to take his own life, vengeance is consuming you. The living isn't done with you yet, right? And I know I butchered that line, but basically, Black Panther basically taking that shot to the hand to try to stop Zemo from taking his own life, telling you the living is not done with you. That shit is raw. And I love how T'Challa realized, or King T'Challa realized that vengeance was wrong. Meanwhile, Tony is consumed. You see Tony consumed by it. You saw Zemo consumed by it. And this whole movie happened because of what happened in Sokovia. Not only because of that mother, but Zemo lost his entire being, his entire family in one fell swoop because of Sokovia. Because of what Tony and Bruce did a movie or two ago, right? They are suffering for it by basically Zemo learning all of their psyches, learning their mentalities, and this is why I say I love Zemo as a villain, because he learned everything about each and every single Avenger, how to break them, how to make them hate each other, how to make them want to kill each other. And he said it himself. He said, bro, I can't even take Iron Man out. I can't even begin to think about how to take out Bucky or Steve or Thor or Hulk or anybody. And I'm just saying, if Hulk and Thor were there, they would have ended that fight at the airport forever ago. I'm just saying. That fight would have ended forever ago. I'm just going to say that now. But the point is, Zemo got them at a point in time in their lives where he got them when he got them. And it was so brilliant watching them all rip apart each other and destroy each other. That's what his plan was. By the way, Game Master, I'm just talking about, again, Captain America Civil War, and just loving how Zemo planned all of this in advance. He spent years researching after this, or maybe a year or so, researching everybody for that whole year, researching everybody, their fighting styles and everything, just to break them down mentally and just do what he did. And it's insane what the fuck he was able to do. Thank you. Appreciate that. But anyways, let's continue watching this. I just had to take a moment to talk about it because it's so good.
This isn't gonna change what happened. I don't care. He killed my mom.
See? And I don't blame him for that. That's... I love this bit coming up, dude. Look at this. Just watch. Okay. Dude, and I made a joke, and I said, everybody, like, whoever's played Elden Ring, you'll get this one. You and a friend jumping an Elden Ring boss be like, Jesus. Yep, him pulling out the core, and then he's like, get blasted. It was a whole thing there. Watch. Blast his whole arm off. And Bucky's out. It was a whole thing. He blasted him over there, and the fight continues. Basically, Steve pouncing on his ass over and over and over again. And basically, I think it was either Jarvis or somebody in Tony's shit was saying, you can't fight him hand to hand. And Steve was just going off, dude. He was going... and took the shield, bink, 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 and then finally said, you know what, fuck it, I'm going for that fucking power core because that's fucking annoying. Yeah. And it was a whole thing. He said, you don't deserve that shield. My father built that shield. And Steve said, fucking take it. And fucking walks away with a fucking disabled arm Bucky. And basically said, goodbye, Tony. Have fun walking back home. You know, type shit. And I bet they didn't talk to each other for a long time after that. And I am just going to mention the rest of this, like, just through talking. So I don't really get more in trouble than probably what I already am with this 50-minute video. But I just want to say, right, Captain America and Steve fighting, they had every right to fight each other. Cap had really good points. Like, for example, the last good point he made was, this isn't going to change anything. You know, I don't care. He killed my mom. How the fuck am I supposed to not want to murder the dude who actually fucking killed my mom right in front of me? You know what I mean? And I get it. Buck was under brainwashing. It still doesn't make it right, though, that it even happened in the first place. But then again, it wasn't him at the same time. It was somebody fucking with his mind, right? But that was the whole thing. And just watching afterwards, you know, Bucky, or not Bucky, Rhodey ending up being okay, just kind of fucked up on the leg a little bit. That also happened. Basically, after that, Tony was just chilling, basically, and, you know, and he got a letter from Steve saying, look, Iron Man, I apologize for not telling you sooner that Bucky, well controlled, was the one that murdered your parents, and you went a long time not knowing who did it, not knowing who ended your parents' lives that night, and just kind of living life being the only Stark left, you know, and I'm sorry for not telling you, and I realize now that in the movie, Civil War was less epic than its comics version because MCU wasn't big at the time. I would argue MCU was really big around this time. I would argue that because, and I'll mention it after I'm done here saying this point, but Steve basically was giving Tony a letter saying what I just said, and then basically saying, you know, not telling you sooner, I realized I wasn't sparing you, I was only sparing myself, like the guilt, and me knowing that it was him, and yada yada yada. But I hope you can forgive me, Tony. I apologize. I deeply do. I realize I was wrong about that. You know, after we fought each other, literally tearing each other limb from limb, basically. But, and then after that, I think Tony got a call from the U.S. government, and, wait, please hold, Tony, no, boop. And then basically the end of the movie is like, basically, you know, Steve Rogers getting everybody out, saying, I'm going to break all you guys out because you guys don't deserve to be in this prison. You guys deserve to be with your family just for trying to help me save Buck and shit. And that was a whole fucking thing, right? And I'm going to be real. This movie was fucking amazing. I love the setups. I love the action pieces. I love all the fights. They were great. Though I really felt like Iron Man should have won the fight between Steve and Bucky because I felt like he's took it on Thor with one of his weakest suits on the fucking planet. I'm not saying he won the fight, but they stalemated for a little bit, right? And it's like, you're telling me that he couldn't take on Steve and Bucky at the same time? You know what I mean? Like, you're telling me he couldn't just do dual lasers and all that other sort of shit? You're telling me that he couldn't take them? I don't know. I feel like that's kind of bullshit. I feel like Tony could have taken them. Like, single-handedly, if he just wasn't getting distracted every 2 seconds by spending 2 seconds taking him out and then getting thrown off by someone, you know, Steve just coming out of the woodworks fucking coming after him and shit. And the whole thing. I feel like most of that fight at the end with Bucky, Steve, and Iron Man, basically Iron Man was really losing because he was like getting thrown off guard like 24/7 during that fight. Because I realized during that fight after watching this little moment, Iron Man basically outpowered both of them, like in energy type shit. Like he had way more energy than both Steve and Bucky combined. Let's be real, he can shoot energy blasts out of his shit. I'm telling you that right now. He can do that. And I feel like his strength was probably around Cap's level, if not maybe a little less. But it's like he had all the laser power and all that shit, and you're telling me he couldn't just use it on Steve. But then again, I get it. He doesn't want to kill Steve, you know. He really doesn't. I mean, he just wants to, like, keep him at bay until he kills, you know, Bucky. He was down to kill him, but, like, Steve, nah, not really. But you get my point. It's a whole thing, and honestly, God, I mean, I get it. Steve was right. Like, see, I'm even having, like, a debate with myself right now, and I'm supposed to just be reviewing this shit. Not, I mean, this is where I can say my thoughts on the movie, since that's what this whole video is all about, but fuck, man. I mean, it's still a really good movie. April 10th, 2025, that's when I saw this movie. God, it's so good. Everything was good about this movie. The music, the setup, the action pieces, everyone disagreeing and agreeing with each other, having their arguments, you know, just everything just worked so well for this movie. And I won't lie. I'm going to talk about the next movie right after this because I don't want to, like, sugarcoat it and be like, I want to save it for tomorrow. I want to get this video done now. I just want to let y'all know, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Also, thank you guys so much for watching my Smash Brothers dubs and shorts and all that stuff. You guys are fucking awesome, okay? Thank you. And also, thank you again for helping me reach 3,950 subscribers. You guys are freaking going off. You guys are popping off. The whole world is going crazy about y'all right now. And also, thank you for the 8 likes on this stream, and thank you guys for watching. But I think that's like all of my thoughts on Captain America Civil War. It's just a phenomenal fucking movie. And I love how it wasn't just action. It was action with, you know, more than just everyone jumping one dude. It's like people's mentalities were like completely like different, and it was not only just action, it was mentalities raging war on each other. Like, you know, like I said, Iron Man's team with Steve's team, and it was a whole thing. It was really cool, and I wish they could do a movie like this again. I don't know if they are, but if they do, they do. If they don't, they don't. But anyways, guys, like, comment, subscribe, favorite, share the video with your friends. This is probably my longest Marvel review yet. But, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one, man. Also, if you're about to invite me to my experience with Marvel movie, pick a movie I've already seen. All right, what movie have you not seen, Lucas? Because I'm about to review Black Widow. I don't know if you've seen that one, but I'm about to review it because I'm thinking about it. And I'm like, you know what? Why not review Black Widow, like the movie, that one that came out, right? And yeah, why not? I'll just review it now because I had a lot of mixed feelings watching Black Widow going in this one. That's why I'm not really all that excited for it in comparison to Civil War. Civil War, that's really good, but Black Widow, oh boy, it's a fucking mess. But anyways, I'll see you guys over there. See you in a bit. Peace. God bless you all. Have a good day. If this is the only video you're going to see from me before you do other things. But anyways, take care.